All right, again, sir, 1 minute to answer, if you would please. Scott will be your timekeeper, and we will stop you at exactly 1 minute. Which political leader from the past 50 years, other than Ronald Reagan, do you see as a role model?
Well, it's hard to talk about any political leader other than Ronald Reagan, but I guess in the current the times that we're talking right now, it would have to be Roy Blunt for me. He's been a great leader in Missouri, and I respect him and what he's done and what he's been able to do, so he'd have to be my guy right now.
All right, thank you. Scott's resetting. You will also have 1 minute for this question, sir.
Okay.
In what specific ways would you help to support and unite the Republican Party in this district?
Well, as I said earlier, my district, my senatorial district, is a very, very conservative district. And I guess what I'm a little bit fearful of, that we're going to have a split in the Republican Party. We somewhat seen that last year on the state level. Those that are, quote, ultra-conservative, those that are conservative. So it would be my goal to pull folks together on every issue. You know, I think our national spending and what we're doing there, no one can literally support that. So I think that as Republicans, it's extremely important that we pull together, regardless of if we're kind of outside the mainstream or moderate, to make sure that this state stays Republican and that these folks represent our values. I don't think we want another Mitt Romney type candidate.
We'll have 2 minutes to answer this question, sir. Given the 8th District's vulnerability to natural disasters, what will be your approach to funding for FEMA and the Army Corps of Engineers with the current budget crisis?
And those are wonderful questions, and questions that we talk about on the state level. I serve on the Appropriations Committee, and you know, there was a terrible tornado in Caruthersville, I think in '06, and we're just now getting some bills from FEMA as a state on paying those bills. We've got jobs ahead of us as a state, and this affects everyone, not only in the state, but in the United States. We've got horrible disasters out on the East Coast. I think that we have to fund and make sure that we're able to respond and respond promptly. But one of the things that concerns me greatly, what we just passed as aid to the East Coast contains so much pork that it doesn't make any sense. So I guess my point is, in addition to making sure we get help to the folks, let's not allow some of these things that's been going on. Emergencies are emergencies. And please, let's spend the money where it's needed, those folks on the ground that are suffering.
All right, thank you. You have 2 minutes to answer this question. That's the volume thing on the wall there. What is your position on reauthorizing the 2008 Farm Bill, which expired September 30th, 2012? Please be specific.
Well, what we got out of Washington recently with the deal that was cut on the fiscal cliff was a kick the can down the road a bit. And you know, all of us can be purists and say, you know, the Farm Bill, does that assure people, or does that allow them to not be good farmers? I can tell you and guarantee you that's not the case. With the input costs today in row crop farming, it is imperative that there be an insurance policy in place. There's no way people can put that kind of money in the ground. And the cost of what an acre of land is today. So it's extremely important that we have a farm bill, a 5-year bill, that people can plan their futures on and what to do. And you know, along those lines, I have some good ideas on what I think we can do as far as economic development related to agricultural enterprise involving the southern half of Missouri.
Right. You have 2 minutes to answer this question as well. How would you support economic development in the 8th District?
Okay, thank you. Something that we're working diligently on, and I would like to continue this on the national level, on the federal level. We talk a lot about enhanced enterprise zones, TIF projects, and all these things. These do benefit municipalities. But one of the things that concerns me greatly in Missouri, I'm a farmer as well as a veterinarian and as well as a state senator. Somebody says maybe you've got too many jobs, but I'm a cow-calf operator, me and my son and my grandchildren. And one of the things that concerns me is we produce a tremendous amount of food, both in the row crop area. We are probably better than anywhere else in the Midwest producing cattle, and we ship these things out of the state. So my idea is we do some agri-enterprise zones, and hopefully we can build some processing plants in the boot heel. We're not just selling rice, putting on a barge, shipping it out, corn. I think value-added agriculture is the answer to employing a lot of people that don't farm. And there's, you know, this district is listed as the poorest in the nation. I'm embarrassed by that, and we have worked very hard to try to change that, not just for my senatorial district, for this entire district. This idea is getting caught, is catching on. We're being called and asking for appointments from Archer's, Daniel Medlin, and Monsanto. And I don't want to get in the business of government choosing winners and losers. That's not what, that doesn't help. I want to get in the business of giving some abatements for a short period of time and building a tax base for schools and building infrastructure all over Missouri, not just in my district, but this. We can slaughter cattle here. We can make flour here. There's a lot of things we can do to process, and that's what I intend to do.
This is your last question. You will have 1 minute to answer. Washington seems to be in gridlock. When, if ever, is it appropriate to compromise?
There are certain values. I am a Christian. I was raised as a Christian. I was raised on a small dairy farm, very poor. Education is a very important aspect of my life and to my family. There are certain core values you never compromise on. Now, do we compromise at the state level or at the federal level? Yes, we do every day. You have to move your idea forward. You have to cut the deal. You have to be conservative but compassionate. You have to be respectful but tough as hell when it calls for it. And so there are some issues you just don't go there. You know, I'm not going to moderate on my pro-life stance. I'm a life member of the NRA. I'm disgusted with what Washington has done this past week. Those issues, your core faith, values, you do not ever moderate on.
All right. It is time for your closing statement. Each candidate at the end of questioning will have 1.5 minutes, 90 seconds for you to make a closing statement.
Thank you very much. And, there's so many things I'd like to tell you about Dan Brown and what I am and what I do, what I stand for. But I think things that you can remember is I do serve God, I serve my family, and I serve my country. And I think that says a lot about who I am, what I am. If you'd asked me 6 months ago, are you going to be a candidate for U.S. Congress? No way, are you nuts? You know, there's a lot of things about Washington I loathe. And after much prayerful consideration, and I have not called a lot of committee members. As a practicing veterinarian being called out 24 hours a day for 38 years, I respect some family time. I respect Christmas. I respect the holidays to be with your family. So part of me apologizes for that. Part of me says, you know, hey, that's who I am. I'm sorry. My father's been very ill and I've missed a lot of these forums. I do apologize for that. And the only reason that I would ever consider this move, and I mean in my lifetime, would be, there's 5 of those. They're grandchildren. I love them dearly. I'd lay my life down for them tomorrow. They live in our town. I see them about 3 or 4 days a week, and that is why I live. That's why I'm here, and I want to do the same thing for your grandchildren. I can be the toughest guy you've ever met if you push me in that corner. Thank you very much.
Senator Dan Brown, thank you, sir.